Let's talk with John Puntis, who's co-chair of Keep Our NHS Public and a retired consultant paediatrician. Good morning to you. How optimistic are you that things will change now the government has changed?
Morning. Well, they're under a lot of pressure to deliver, so I have some optimism. However, that's not based on what's in the manifesto, which is extremely limited. So I think I'm hoping Labour, now in charge, will recognise the crisis in the NHS and social care. I think it would be good if they declared a national emergency in health and care, and they came up with some much more radical proposals. I think this is what people are expecting from them, and certainly the measures in the manifesto, I think, would do very little to change the current situation. So it has to go beyond that.
It's interesting looking at the vocabulary. Wes Streeting has said that the health service is broken. That is a stronger language than they used when they were campaigning, isn't it?
It is. I think it is finally a recognition that the NHS is in crisis. But I think the implications of that statement should be that they want to mend the NHS based on affirmation of its founding principles, and they shouldn't be suggesting that the basic model of the NHS is broken.
Is there money available to fix some of what's going on? Because some of the solution is funding, isn't it?
Some of the solution is funding, unquestionably. And if you look back to the Blair-Brown government, what made a big difference to NHS performance was investing in staff and overall increased investment in the service. So, that's not that long ago. We can see that worked, whereas things like using private sector capacity through the independent sector treatment centres set up under the Blair-Brown government, that didn't work. So we know that's not a good policy to have. So it does need investment. Is the money there? I think, we are a rich country. There's lots of money around. We could find the money to help out the bankers in the banking crisis. We found extra money during COVID when that was needed. I don't think there's any doubt that the money could be found. And indeed, from the point of view of the economy, we have so many people now who are not in the workforce because of chronic sickness. So the ill health is actually undermining the economy. And just as in 1948, I think people need to recognise that, first of all, you need a strong health service before you can have growth and a strong economy. And that hasn't changed, in my opinion.
And one of the priorities will be sorting out the industrial action.
Yes, and I think that there is there are huge problems with staff retention. There's still something like 120,000 vacancies. Morale is very low. And one of the suggestions made in the British Medical Association Commission on Health is that the government ought to restore pay to 2008 levels. And that would send a very strong message of support and valuing staff, and it would improve retention, which is absolutely critical. So I would like to see them make that promise and then implement it.
John Puntis, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Co-chair of Keep Our NHS Public, a retired consultant paediatrician.